We are back with another monthly wrap-up of some of the weird, bizarre, and even scary news to come out of Japan over the last month. So, what happened over the last month or so? Let's take a look. Number 1. To kick things off this month, while I certainly don't condone the actions of this guy, I most certainly do understand where he was coming from. Back in March, a restaurant in Saga City, Saga Prefecture, received a terrifying phone call telling them to go look at the front door. There, they found a note that said, "I have planted a bomb here." Now, a party was scheduled that very same night for a group of police officers, so you would think someone was trying to target them, right? Well, technically, you would be right, but probably not in the way you're thinking. Turned out the culprit was a police officer himself. In fact, he was the guy the party was being thrown for. An officer in his 20s was retiring at the end of the month, but I guess he simply had enough and didn't even want to attend his own farewell party. These things are not so easy to get out of, especially in Japan. So he took extreme measures and figured he'd just call in a bomb hoax. As you do. Fellow officers started to get an inkling it was actually him during investigations, and when questioned, he admitted to it. "I didn't want to go to my farewell party," he gave as his reasoning. And his punishment, ironically, kept him in the force on disciplinary leave for another whole month, before he was finally allowed to resign. The case was also referred to the public prosecution, so further punishment may be on the way. Number 2. In this month's Yakuza news, as you may remember from previous videos, it's technically illegal for members affiliated with various Yakuza gangs to do quite a lot of normal things in Japan. It's part of a larger effort to basically squeeze them out of society, to force people out of the lifestyle. And even things as simple as entering sports stadiums or signing for contracts is forbidden. And last month, police announced that they had arrested a 42-year-old man associated with the Kudokai in Fukuoka for racking up free airline miles. Police claimed that between June and November of 2023, the man travelled 9 different times and accumulated over 4,000 miles in a frequent flyer account under his own name. The problem is that in 2022, the previous year, the terms of this program were changed to exclude members affiliated with organised crime gangs. While the man had been a member of this program since 2013, he was still subject to any changes, meaning he gathered all those free miles illegally. As of making this video, there's no news on how the man himself has pled, but considering it was under his real name, he's probably not getting out of this one. Number 3. Last month, a tweet went viral for sharing one 50-year-old man's quest to hitchhike from Aomori to Tokyo. In and of itself, that's vaguely interesting, sure, but it was the contents of this man's request that could perhaps be best summed up as, well, the audacity. Please help spread this message. This year I'm turning 50, so to mark the occasion, I wanted to challenge myself to do something big. I decided to hitchhike the length of Japan. At the moment, I'm looking for someone who can take me as close as possible to Tokyo from Aomori. I'd be most pleased if you were a young woman. Although older women are also okay. I have no ulterior motives. It's a long trip, so I'd be most grateful if you could provide canned beer and snacks so I can nap on the way. In thanks, I'll sing 2 or 3 songs in the car. In order to avoid any dangerous situations, I will first require a copy of your driver's license. I hope you can understand why. Please feel free to contact me. I'll be waiting. I mean, what else can you say but the audacity? This is one of those situations where it's hard to know where to begin, but numerous commenters laughed at how he wanted to challenge himself to do something big while expecting others to do it for him, and offering to sing a few songs in return for snacks, beer, and a free ride. It's hardly the juicy compensation he seems to think it would be. Either way, no word on whether any lovely young ladies have offered this 50-year-old stranger a ride, but I'm willing to bet no. Number 4. Alright, let's set the scene. You're just about to step outside to head to work, and as you lift your foot to step out the door, you notice something weird. Something that very much shouldn't be there. It's a crab. What the hell? Of course, in a weird situation like this, the first thing you have to do is, obviously, take a photo of it and share it online. Hey everyone, why the hell is there a crab on my doorstep? I don't live anywhere near the beach, LOL. But in having done this, you've walked right into their trap. No, not the crabs, but the thieves who have now targeted your house for future item liberation. In an honestly pretty ingenious new scam, it turns out that thieves are targeting people through a decently complex route that doesn't require them to interact with you at all, yet tells them exactly when your house will be free and ripe for the picking. By placing a crab, or in some cases a large stag beetle, on people's doorsteps, they then wait for them to step out, take a photo of the incredibly odd sighting, and then share it online. This doesn't require the thief to lurk in waiting, however. They just check online, searching through tags and posts for terms like crab, and when they identify their target, they now know which house is associated with which social media account. Then, by monitoring the account, they can wait until people travel and share photos from their trip, like, for example, the recent Golden Week holidays, and strike the house when it's empty. RIP all your goods. So, if you step outside one day and find a crab waving its little pincers at you, don't share it online. Help that little guy get back to where he needs to be, and protect your valuables at the same time. Number 5. In products that were made especially for me, Felissimo is now selling a variety of no mask pouches, in collaboration with the Kyoto Kanze No Theatre. If you ever wanted something stylish, but also a little horrifying, to store your wallet, headphones, lip balm, etc. in, then look no further. For 2,600 yen, you can also pretend you're running around the Himuro mansion trying to figure this damn mask puzzle out. Or just partaking in some fashionable theatre culture. Both work. A variety of masks are currently available, such as the Hanya mask, the old man, or the classic woman's face. And if you want to scare people even more, the backside features what the masks look like from the inside, which is somehow even more horrifying than you'd expect. I kind of need them all, not gonna lie. Number 6. If you've ever been terrorized by birds at the beach, then you should understand this next one very well. On May 11th, a tweet went viral when someone shared that they visited Ogijima, an island in the Seto Inland Sea. While there, they had a plushie with them to take pictures with, and you can probably guess where this is going. Suddenly, a black kite flew in, spotted its prey, and snatched it right out of the tweeter's hands. Unfortunately, said plushie was never seen again. A very sudden and upsetting goodbye. This led to numerous users sharing their own heartaches of birds being assholes, and numerous illustrations and memes of the poor plushie flying off to the heavens. As someone who has also had birds snatch things right out of my hands while hanging out near the water, screw those guys and bring my sandwich back, mate. Yes, I'm still bitter. Number 7. On May 20th, emergency services in Hiroshima received a call from a monk at the Daishoin Temple around 8:30 AM with some rather horrifying news. The Reikado temple was on fire. Now, it might not immediately be evident for non-Japanese speakers from its name, but Reikado translates roughly to Sacred Fire Temple. Yes, the Temple of Sacred Fire was, well, on fire. This temple was founded by Kukai, of all people, all the way back in 806, and the sacred fire inside it came to be called the Eternal Flame. True to its name, that fire has been burning ever since, lasting over 1,200 years now. So, did a fire, ironically, put out the eternal flame? Thankfully not. A monk was able to transfer the flame to another location before the building burnt down, so for now, it remains safe. This isn't the first time they've had to undergo such a transfer, as the temple also burnt down in 2005. So, thankfully, they've had practice. For now, the sacred eternal flame remains safe, and now that the temple has completely burnt to the ground, they will once again start rebuilding it. Number 8. In further bird news, police announced on April 30th that they had referred someone to the public prosecutor on charges of, well, feeding birds. The problem here wasn't that they were just heading down to the park and throwing out a bit of bread for the pigeons and ducks. Rather, they were heading to an area just outside two decently busy train stations, late at night, and feeding a hell of a lot of crows and pigeons. If you've ever seen a large number of birds feeding, then you know how much noise and mess they make. This wasn't just bothering local residents, but also leaving quite a bit of biohazardous material from all the bird poop around the stations as well. And so, under the Animal Welfare Act, police were able to track down the person feeding all these birds, and the city issued an order to stop. The person did not. And so, they now likely have to attend court, all because they refused to stop feeding some birds that really don't need to be fed in the first place. Being that they admitted to the charges as well, seems like it'll be a clear-cut case either way. Number 9. Sure, you've drank bad coffee before, but did you drink coffee so bad that it tasted like a rhinoceros beetle? No, I don't know what that would taste like either, but one tweeter last month shared his pain after drinking a Starbucks black coffee of the day, and swiftly came to the conclusion that he was pretty much just drinking beetle-flavored bean soup. Delicious. The drink in question is chilled, bottled, unsweetened coffee from Starbucks. I don't know what else you need to know to suggest this probably isn't going to taste amazing, but some people who viewed the tweet decided to taste test for themselves, because apparently you can buy rhinoceros beetles for consumption as well. Because of course you can. The verdict? Well, apparently the literal beetle still tastes worse, but they do share an unpleasant, moldy leaf aftertaste, mixed with a bit of fresh soil. I mean, say less, I'm sold. I'll go freshen my coffee cup up in the sewer first for the full authentic experience. Number 10. In quite possibly my favourite news from this month, a man in his 20s living in Kagoshima City was at home on May 6th when someone rang his doorbell shortly after 6 a.m. A little early for a visit, but he was in for an even bigger shock when he opened the door. There, a 54-year-old woman he didn't know suddenly slapped him in the face. Just like that. Then she walked inside and made herself at home. As you do. Utterly bewildered, the man called police and told them a strange woman was in his house. When they arrived, she was still there, although she thankfully hadn't assaulted the man again in the meantime. She was then arrested and taken to the station for questioning. When they asked her if she had slapped this man who was a total stranger to her, she reportedly replied, "That's right." As of making this video, no reason has been given for her wandering up to a random man's house and deciding to slap him in the face. And that's just some of the weird, bizarre, terrifying, and also kind of funny news that came out of Japan last month. But what about you guys? Hear of anything odd or terrifying? Weird or funny? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.